666.
Saudi Arabia is the most positive on its country's economic outlook, with 93% rating it as good, according to the Ipsos Global Consumer Confidence survey. The survey used a representative sample of 20,000 adults aged 16 to 74 in 27 participating countries. According to the survey, across 27 countries, 32% on average say that the current economic situation in their country is good, while a majority of 68% say that it is bad.
We've talked about this. Saudi Arabia is in the zone. I mean, with oil revenues up, with managing COVID well, with the economy, non-oil, and all aspects of it sort of firing on all cylinders and growing, and a lot of excitement. I mean, there are soft spots and there are concerns and that sort of thing. But the numbers are pretty impressive. I mean, 93%. The next with India was 77%. Sweden, the Scandinavian countries are always rocking this quality of life and outlook, and they're at 57%. So Saudi Arabia is busting Sweden by close to 40 percentage points, and it's a good time for Saudi Arabia. Everybody should feel good about the economy.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows the buy-in, and that's very helpful when you're doing these economic transformations, when you're completely changing your society and your economy. It really helps to have people believing what you're going to do and believing in the end game. And even if 93% is very high, and maybe some people didn't want to say they weren't as positive because they felt, whatever. I mean, so what? Take 20% off of that, 73%. I mean, that's great. That, like you said, that's second. So, I mean, this is really good. This is indicative of people saying, all right, we're here for the ride. Let's see where we end up. We're buying in on this. And obviously, oil prices don't hurt making $1 billion a day in exports. I would be pretty confident about that myself as well.
Yeah. And, at the granular level, the Saudis are worried about inflation. They're worried about, what their purchasing power is. And and housing and can I do this? And so it's a real life thing, but it's certainly in the context of the world, Saudi Arabia and certain oil producing states that have managed their affairs well are doing better than anybody on the globe right now.
Absolutely. And, it was like, Richard, we talked with John Sfakianakis a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how one of the things that was just very obvious to him in this transformation was the restaurants. I mean, it's just completely different than what it was before. I mean, you could go and go to restaurants and they were, sort of separated or segregated by gender. And now they're not as much that way, but they're also just some of the world's best restaurants in Riyadh. I mean, if you're looking around, you're saying, well, this is awesome. This is totally different. I mean, this is proof to me right now that what we're doing is working. Even if we don't have our goals hit yet, I'm dining at a Nobu in Riyadh. I mean, how cool is that? So I don't know, this doesn't seem surprising, that high number. I think a lot of Saudis are saying, hey, we're on the right track. So
I agree. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, because that is amazing and it's real progress. And funny, one of the things that we've read in about real estate and Knight Frank is people talking about, the restaurant ecosystem is going to be booming, and that the people are, it's really going to be at a global level. People are going to be attracted to Saudi restaurants. At the local level, there's a question of who can afford to go. Mm-hmm. And if you're middle class and it's still really pricey, and so these are all things that are going to work out. I think overall the macro look from Saudi Arabia is awesome. At the micro level, there's always challenges, and they'll deal with it, but they're going to have to deal with things. But if you're in Saudi, if you're a Saudi, you got to feel very good about your economy and how it's been managed and the way things are headed.
Richard, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucian. Awesome. It's always fun.